Guys, welcome back. I'm sitting here at the desk with Miranda Oldroyd and a special guest, Sevan Matossian.
Special man.
Dude, you've been around for a while. You are, you've been intimately linked with the 2008 games. Of course, you made Every Second Counts. You were there in 09, 2010. You've even made these documentaries of the winners. Tell me now, you're involved in the Open. Tell me about this most recent project.
Most recent project is with Tom Rowland and Jessica Pamanian. And I was on the East Coast for 7 weeks in between New York and Key West, Florida. And I followed them as they did all 6 events, and it was awesome.
On the road, just road tripping.
Yep.
Kind of a CrossFit groupie.
Yeah.
You seem to be following people around a lot.
I pretend like I'm a journalist, but really I'm just a fan. I'm an opinionated fan. I mean, that's what I am.
And actually, what was the deal? Because Tom's got another show going on, and at one point I saw it was almost like battle cameras.
It was battle cameras.
Yeah.
Tom is the host of the Saltwater Experience.
Okay.
It's a show on ESPN. He also produces another show. I can't remember the name of it. But so his crew was also there showing that he's a CrossFitter. Tom ran into CrossFit 2 or 3 years ago, was at the Ohio sectional, took last place, and he's really put in the work, and 2.5 years later, he's top 100 in his region.
Yeah, and we won't
42 years old.
We won't spoil it, but because your 11.6 hasn't been released yet, but we don't know if he qualified or not yet. But
No, we don't know if he qualified, but he's 100th place.
Okay.
So you do the math.
Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
not.
Some people might not register.
Yeah, but Jess, the opposite, right? Or not the opposite, but she was a...
Jessica's a really mysterious character. Took 4th place in the games last year. I never saw a single interview with her. She has an Armenian last name, but she's really Filipino. She is from Milpitas, but lives in Queens. I heard that she swears a lot. I heard she's really cantankerous. And,
and you met her,
and she's not Armenian, and she doesn't swear a lot, and she's not cantankerous. But she's an amazing CrossFitter, and I see why she took 4th place, and she's hardcore.
Yeah.
It was great working with her and Tom.
So, I mean, and I enjoyed watching it, the whole thing, and lots of it was a side story.
Did you really watch it?
I did.
Yeah.
All the way through
It was
the
good.
first one.
Yeah?
All the way, halfway through the first one.
Halfway through the
I got
first
10
one.
minutes at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I had to put my eyes open. No, it was great. It was great. And seriously, it was the side stories for me. I thought they were really cool, those Tom and Jess, but it was the side stories that you came up with, people you encountered on the way. Was that the case for you?
Yeah, I enjoy that part a lot. I met Kirk doing the Open with cancer. I met Rich Froning.
Oh, wait. Facial expression.
It always comes back, dude. So you're Rich. Let's talk about Rich.
Cookeville, Tennessee, home of the 2011 CrossFit Games champion, Rich Froning.
Calling
Wow.
it.
Yeah.
Calling it.
I mean, I'm not going out on a limb.
You are.
No. 2nd place last year. I think a lot of people would say he deserved to win last year. Not deserved to win, but that he was close to winning.
Well, yeah, obviously.
And so I'm not going out on.
Second place is next to first.
I'm not going out on a limb by saying he is hands down the winner, and only 2nd, 3rd, and 4th is available.
You are or not saying that?
I am saying that.
I think that is going out on a limb. And you've said stuff like that before. You said that about Miko and Annie last year. You said both of them were unbeatable.
That's true. I did say that.
But that's your prediction. That hands down, Rich Froning's first, and everybody else is battling.
Last year I was wrong. The year before I was right. The year before I predicted Miko and Tanya Wagner.
Dude, and now you're turning your back on Miko.
I know.
I really like Miko. Miko, I really like you. Rich Froning's gonna win it. You know, you're gonna take home $50,000. All right, you're gonna get 2nd place.
Okay.
Still more than last place, 1st place.
Interesting. And then what about your boy Graham? You spent a week with him after last year's games?
Graham Holmberg, amazing athlete. Haven't talked to him in a while. I've heard Graham say some things, or I read them somewhere, and I've heard other top athletes say it about how they're not trying their hardest for the Open. I don't believe this stuff. I think that elite athletes, they hear 3, 2, 1, go.
That's it. It's on.
I agree with you.
Really?
On that.
Yep.
So
I think the Open is very indicative of what we're going to see at the games.
Interesting.
Extremely, except for the first 2 places. And Dan Bailey and Joshua Bridges, great athletes,
right?
But they're runts.
What?
Runs?
Yeah,
Have you seen
I am a
Bailey?
runt.
Bailey looks like a tank, dude. He's
but they're
enormous.
160 pound guys.
How much do you weigh?
I'm 160 pounds too.
No, you're not.
Yeah. Well, okay, 150. So I'm a runt too. So I will hide from them at the games. But what I'm saying is that Rich Froning and Miko Salo are men.
Yeah.
You know, a 500-pound deadlift is it doesn't tax their system. You know what I mean? They don't celebrate with a 500-pound deadlift. They can pick 300 pounds off the ground and put it over their head, and they don't celebrate about it. They're strong, grown-ass men, 185 pounds apiece.
Okay, but
and these other guys are just Metcon beast. I mean, not just, but CrossFit will expose them And Rich and Miko don't have kinks in their arm.
Okay, very interesting because Dan and Josh weren't exposed at all during this competition, and I'm a big Rich fan too. Don't get me wrong, but I've just got to say, if you're saying it's indicative of the overall winners,
yes.
But then you contradicted yourself a little bit. But let me ask you this: what about the intangibles? Because you've been on the competition floor a lot, and you've seen these dudes mentally, like Miko. He's like a cyborg, right? Mm-hmm. How much does that play into it?
Rich is the strongest athlete mentally.
Really?
That I've seen. Yep. But I did have a 4-hour conversation with Kerry Peterson, a journalist for the CrossFit Journal, and he just spent a few days with Dan Bailey, and he said the same thing about Dan Bailey. He said Dan Bailey may be mentally the strongest athlete he's ever met.
I don't think you're going to find anybody in the top 10 that you couldn't, I mean, somebody wouldn't say that mental component is there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But my point is that Chris Spieler, Matt Chan, these guys who I know they're just like rock solid upstairs. I have a hard time believing that they're not going to be, at or near the podium again once it's like the lights are on, the cameras are going off, and everything's kind of like pressure's on.
Well, let me see the list. Let me see where they're at. Who did you mention?
No, don't worry about that. talking about Chan and Spieler specifically.
Okay.
Pre-qualified for the games, right?
Okay.
And I think those intangibles play a huge part.
Who do you think? Now, with Miko and Rich, I know you kind of have a man crush on both of them.
Absolutely.
Which way would you go with it? I mean, is one of them more attractive than the other? Is that what's playing into it for you?
Miko Salo is 31 years old. Rich Froning is 23 years old.
Do you think that plays a huge part?
Yeah. I mean, Rich Froning wakes up in the morning, at 5 in the morning. And
he was there.
Yeah, I was there. I was there, so.
Did he call you or nudge you?
He wakes up, we had an appointment.
Okay.
He wakes up at 5 in the morning. He goes to bed 9 at night. He's in the Tennessee Tech $2.5 million, 20,000 square foot dream CrossFit gym.
It's a cool place.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and he's surrounded himself with elite athletes.
Point taken. You love it. You love Rich. Let's move on.
I love Rich's training.
Let's move on slightly. Now, we call the winner of this competition is going to go to the regionals. The winner of the regionals are going to go to the games to compete against the past, and we're going to call them the fittest on earth. Is that an appropriate title?
Absolutely.
Tell me why.
Fittest on earth is relative to all other competitions out there. So what do we have out there? That's first of all. So it's the most inclusive competition I've ever heard of. I've never seen a competition where just anyone can jump in and enter it.
And you've seen a lot of different types of sporting competitions.
A ton of different sporting competitions. Nothing that tests to this level. So many time domains.
The arm wrestling, no?
So many modalities. Careful, arm wrestling's dear to my heart. Basically, on the drive down here today, I was actually thinking about that because I saw someone on the internet say, well, it's kind of, can you really call him the fittest? And I was thinking, okay, well, let's say I want to be the best javelin thrower in the world. What do I have to do to enter the Olympics and throw the javelin?
Miranda was actually very proficient at javelin.
I mean, it's crazy. I have to jump through, I probably have to fill out 300 pages of paperwork. I have to bribe someone. I need these coaches. I have to go to this college. What do I need to do to enter the CrossFit Games? So right there, we win. CrossFit wins because it's the easiest competition to enter.
No, easy to enter, but not easy, obviously, to...
So easy to enter.
Right.
I mean, it's like you can enter and you don't even have to compete.
Right.
You can enter, you could register, and then just go to the bathroom and take a dump and send in a video.
But by virtue of that doesn't necessarily make it the best. But then the test that we put them through is what you're saying is the
easiest to enter, and then we have a test that's been changed, modified, and made better since 2007. No one would argue that.
Yep.
No.
So
and you've been around, so you've got some got some authority to say so.
Yep.
Dude, I've really enjoyed Miranda being here, and you were here also, and we'll be right back.